Hi, my name is Ülena Vilumets and I'm the Head of Business Development at the e-Residency program. Lately, I've been concerned with how we could help more e-residents get their businesses off the ground and do so with the help of Estonian ecosystem. So today I've invited Andrus Purde to have a chat with me about marketing, the ABCs of marketing. Andrus worked in Skype in the 2000s. And he was also the head of marketing at Pipedrive, helping the company to get from 0 to 70,000 paying customers. Currently, he is the CEO and one of the founders of a revolutionary marketing startup, Outfunnel. Hi, Andrus.
Hey.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me here.
So let's say I'm a beginner startup founder and I think I have a really good product. And I've heard that, to get to my customers, I should be doing something called marketing. Where do I start?
So the most important first thing to do is to design a fancy logo, of course.
I make it bigger.
I'm only kidding. I think it's good. A good product or service usually solves a problem or gives you a piece of a promised world, a better world. And they know that to start marketing it, a good place to start is deeply understand who is it for, who's the ideal customer, and be very specific about it. So it is for startups. It is for what kind of startups? Is it pre-funding? Is it seed funding? Is it B round? So quite big companies. Who in the startup? Is it the CEO? Is it HR? Is it marketing? And then also what kind of startups? Is it crypto startups, B2B, hardware? So you want to be as specific as possible, and then if you do that, then everything else will be much easier.
So I assume I've defined my target audience. Then what are the next steps?
Then I think you want to get the foundation of marketing right, and if you know who your product is for or service, then you want to define your unique value proposition, or there's different ways how you can call it, but you want to specify what you want to say about your product or service. So we already talked who's it for. Then it also needs to communicate what's different about this product or service, and see, very importantly, compared to what. So what are the competing brand services, products that you're competing with, and then so you have a pretty boring but hopefully precise sentence then of what your product does for who and how does it differ. Mm-hmm. And then it makes sense to test it. We're all geniuses, but we should test our genius ideas on real people, which means talking to other entrepreneurs or customers or just people on the street, pitching your service or product one-on-one, mm-hmm. Or doing A/B tests with advertising copy, or even using services like Winter that let you design value propositions in your exact target audience.
Mm-hmm. Testing sounds awfully like something you would do in tech.
I think testing is something you just want to do if you want to save time and hassle and headaches later on. Mm-hmm.
What about knowing which channels should I use to reach my target audience then?
There's three important things, I think, when it comes to channels. First is, it depends on, and that sounds like slightly boring, but bear with me. So it depends on category awareness. So do people in your target audience know that what you do exists? So if I'm selling design services or marketing software, people in my target audience know what it is, and they, if they have a need, they start searching for it. So mm-hmm. For these kinds of situations, being visible, being findable in search is very important. So search engine marketing, search ads, things like that. If you have a low category awareness, let's say I'm selling a cat walking drone. It's a brand new mm-hmm. product category, and because it's new, nobody knows to search for it. And
I don't know that I would need it.
Yes, and then for these people, they are actively not searching for your product, like in social media, or just kind of they are going about their day. So you want to interrupt them with an ad or a social media message or something viral to get their attention. So it's good to kind of keep in mind your category awareness to know whether you should lean on kind of search-related channels or more like interruptions, media, social media type of channels. No product is purely one or the other, but usually one side dominates.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. You worked at Pipedrive.
Yeah.
How did you do it there, for example?
I mean, CRM, Pipedrive was a sales CRM, and then people in the audience usually know what the CRM is. So we're definitely on the high category awareness side of things. So our job was to make the product easily findable. So we did quite a bit of search engine optimization or SEO and content. We bought the right keywords on search engines, and then we also just made sure that where people go to search for CRM software, we were there and findable.
Would you say that was the key in getting to 70,000 paying customers?
The key was having a great product, and then marketing can just lubricate the success.
So SEO, what would somebody who is just starting out need to know about SEO?
First, I think there's a thing called keyword research, which sounds slightly technical, but it's very useful. So it's understanding what keywords people use to find your product or service, and then usually it's quite easy to come up with the exact thing, how to describe your product or service. But then there's adjacent keywords, and you want to find keywords which are popular, so which people use a lot, but which have low difficulty in getting to ranking, and there's tools that help you understand which keywords have higher search volume and relatively less difficult to start ranking for them.
Which means that basically there's no competition for them,
So exactly. So you want to find keywords which relatively fewer companies find interesting.
Can you confirm that there's no life beyond page 2 on Google?
I don't know. I've never been there, but yeah, you want to rank in the first, not only in the first 10, but like first 5 positions on Google. That's where the action really happens.
But for that, there's no magic trick. It takes time, right?
There's no magic tricks, but there's tricks. So I think you want to do your keyword research. You want to make sure that your website is well structured. You want to be smart about how you produce content, and then link building. So there's definitely things you can do to start ranking, but it's definitely not a quick fix. So usually search engine optimization or like search-driven content is not something which starts to work immediately. It takes time to get it running.
A lot of companies use content marketing to be present with their topics and their products. Have you used content marketing in your previous work?
I definitely have. So content marketing is a slightly too generic of a term to be useful. So what kind of content are we talking about? Is it content that is targeting a specific keyword which attracts existing people who search for that topic? Is it content that manifests something like a point of view or something like thought leadership kind, which people should spread virally? Is it content that helps your existing users get more value out of the product? So I think you want to be intentional of why you're producing content, and not just kind of. So the one mistake people do is just let's start a blog and let's start putting stuff out there. So that's not the way to do content. I think you want to understand why you do what you do.
Should all companies use social media or paid ads?
No. Next question. But I think one good thing to keep in mind about channels is that all the companies are different, and there's many good paths to big successes. So if social media comes naturally to you, if you already have a big following on Twitter, of course you should use social media. If you're very analytical and numbers driven and like to play with kind of calculations, then something like paid can be very beneficial for you. So in a way, I think a good marketing channel advice is you do you. So there's best practices, there's things that people or companies in your area usually do, but every company is different, and you should really gravitate towards channels where you thrive in and which come more naturally to you.
So creating a Facebook page and Twitter and LinkedIn and TikTok and all of that could be a solution to somebody.
It could be a solution, but there's nothing sadder. There's very few things sadder than seeing a Facebook page or somebody's Twitter feed, which is clearly done by somebody who doesn't have a clue what they're talking about. So I think you want to stay away from that. So rather instead of trying to do everything and trying to do what your competitor does, do something which you actually want to do and can do.
So lately everybody talks about AI and ChatGPT. How could these help with marketing? And should they use them?
They probably should. So I used machine learning or AI-based tools to help with copywriting, to help with creative headlines, to help with summarizing the competitive advantages of competitors. So you can use it in many ways, and there's an app for that in each of the things you can use. And there's new tools coming out every week, if not every day. So it definitely makes sense to research. Whatever you need to do, just research what tools are available for you. But I'll also keep in mind that AI helps you automate things which you don't want to do manually anymore. But there's also value in doing things manually before you start automating them. So in addition to researching all the AI tools, I will also look at the basics of things. So for instance, in writing, don't just jump from zero to only using machine learning for copywriting, but also spend some time with the classic books like Cialdini's Influence or Ogilvy on advertising to really understand not just that headline A is better than headline B, but why is it better than headline B. How does great copywriting work, and how we humans work psychologically as respondents to headlines.
Because you also need to be able to evaluate the result you get through AI tools, and sometimes maybe adjust and give feedback and ask them to do it again, right?
Exactly. So you can't completely switch off your brain when you're using great machine learning AI-based tools.
Can you tell us some other fails that you've experienced and witnessed in your career in marketing?
What do you mean other fails? But so fails, I think, as a marketer, one of the things that should be in your job description is your job is to fail, is to keep failing. And I think I've failed at least 20 to 40% of my time as a marketer. I failed, and I think I've been paid to do that, and it's been working out well because you're making A/B tests, you're running, trying new channels, you're constantly looking for new things you haven't done before, which in essence means that you're failing. So I would say that everybody should set aside at least 10 to 30% of their budget for experiments, which is a fancy word for fails.
Mm-hmm. And then once you've failed enough times, then how to take all that experience then and translate it into to next steps?
You need to keep track of what has failed and what hasn't. And then you can put the fails to really work for you. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's a ton of tools that a starting entrepreneur is not really aware of that could help them in doing a lot of those things. Can you tell us about some useful tools that you've used over the years, and one of which you're building?
Yes, not to pitch too much here, but I think the most important tool anybody who is starting out or expanding their business is a tool that captures their customer data with all the lead source and then lead touches information. So if you're on B2B, it's probably a CRM tool. If you're selling an e-commerce product, it's probably Shopify. But you want to make sure that your tool is set up to capture the traffic source for each lead, and then all the touch points that have happened with the lead before they convert or don't convert to a paying customer. Because if you do that, then you can really analyze later what has worked and what hasn't worked for you. You can do things like tying customer lifetime value back to marketing channels, etc. And yeah, just to maybe a quick pitch that if you're a B2B and if CRM is the way for you, is the way to collect customer data for you, if that's your single source of truth, then Outfunnel can be a great way to connect marketing data to your CRM.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right, thank you so much, Andrus, for joining us today.
It was a pleasure.
And I hope some of your tips will result in more efficient and less failure for some startup founders doing their marketing. Here in Estonia, we have a lot of really experienced people who have built crazy successful startups. So if you're looking to develop yourself, if you're looking to get some mentoring, then I definitely suggest you to hop over here and witness this all in person.